You're going to add a cup of flour and a cup of warm water, not hot, warm. If it's too hot, if it's over 100 degrees, it will kill the yeast and you will have done all that for nothing. So make sure it's just barely warm. You can even use cold water. It just takes a little longer for the sponge to start bubbling. If your starter's ready, do not move along with this recipe until you've seen the last 3 episodes. Okay? So just refrigerate your starter, and then you can follow along with the rest of it, because you really got to get the timing of when you make the sponge and the bread down. Otherwise, you're going to be baking bread at like 3 in the morning. So read the post, watch the next episodes, and then take your starter and do what I did today. So you're going to whisk that together very smooth. It's going to, again, look like that pancake batter we started with. And then we're just going to let this sit out. So what's going to happen here, our starter, which should have a very active and enthusiastic yeast colony in it, is going to grow into this sponge. It's going to take that flour and water, and it's going to start bubbling. Cover it with plastic. Poke some holes in it so you got some breathability. And this is going to take anywhere between 4 and 10 hours. I don't know how warm your kitchen is or wherever you're going to keep this. So you're just going to leave this out. So I'm going to say mine's going to go about 8 hours. The longer you leave it, the longer you let your sponge ferment, the more sour your sourdough will be. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Make sure you read the post for the next steps, and as always, enjoy. Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with another episode of Follow the Sourdough, Day 7. We need dough. Here we go. My sponge is ready. It's totally spongy. I left it overnight, as my post yesterday explained, so it's probably even more bubbly than yours is going to be, but anyway. So I'm going to knock it down with a spatula because I need 2 cups of sponge for my recipe. And if you don't knock it down, you'll get too many bubbles and it won't be measured right. So 2 cups of sponge, throw it in a bowl, 2 teaspoons of salt, half a teaspoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using a nice kind of a light olive oil. And then 1 cup of our white unbleached bread flour. We're going to stir that together. That's going to mix in all the salt and sugar and oil. And it's going to form a very wet, very sticky dough. We're going to put in another half cup of flour. We're going to stir that in with a spatula, and that's going to form a slightly less sticky ball of dough. So once a cup and a half of flour are in there, you're going to turn that out onto a floured board. You're going to pour a half a cup of flour over